My name's Kerry Glencorse. I work for Susannah Lea Associates. I run the London office. The agency has a head office in Paris and also an office in New York. So we describe ourselves as a boutique agency with international reach. So my job particularly is that I sell all of the agency's clients in the UK, but I also have my own growing list of clients, primarily UK based, some based in the States, mostly English language, that I sell in the UK like any other agent, and then they're sold internationally by my colleagues in Paris and New York. And actually not entirely UK based. So I represent a couple of American writers, an Australian writer. I suppose it's more the distinction between the writers that my colleagues might take on in Paris or New York. I'm searching for talent out of London, but actually that talent could come from anywhere, and I would be keen to find authors from further afield. I think sometimes it's easy to end up getting a lot of writers from kind of the south, and actually I'd be very interested in finding writers from further afield. Well, this is a notoriously difficult question. No, that's all right, because you kind of know it when you see it, and trying to describe it, it's like dating. You know, you could be perfect for each other on paper, and then actually when you meet, it doesn't work at all, and then there can be someone who sounds like a disaster, but when you meet, there's kind of instant chemistry and it all works amazingly. And I think the same is very true, honestly, with books and manuscripts. Sometimes you get something that doesn't sound like anything that would be the kind of thing that you like, but you just love how it comes alive, how it comes off the page. And then sometimes something that ticks all of your boxes in terms of what you've said you want just doesn't work. So that my first kind of point to writers would be, try not to be frustrated if it sounds like your book ticks every box that an agent has asked for and yet they still don't go for it, because the chemistry needs to work. And if the chemistry doesn't work, it's never going to work. You need to find that person who responds on a kind of almost molecular level to your writing. But what I do like is heart and good characters. I kind of need to be carried along by the characters and by a bit of heart, and I would take a bit of heart and soul over a sort of perfectly formed sentence most days of the week. And there is just a kind of magic dust, you know, a book that works is a book that's greater than the sum of its parts. And again, that's something you can only tell when you've read it. And a certain intelligence as well. I need a kind of smartness, so that it can be very commercial. I represent a commercial women's fiction writer called Joanna Balluri, and they're very, they're straight down the line commercial women's fiction books, but they're smart and they're sassy, and the women are strong. I like strong women. I need a bit of smartness and a bit of intelligence, and that can be either quite literary or very commercial, but that's quite important to you as well. From people who haven't even really started the book or have written very little, who are asking much more about how the publishing process works overall, to people who actually I've had a book published by a publishing house or had some success publishing online, who are much more polished and experienced, and actually again, for writers to know, neither of those things are bad. The kind of raw talent is what we're after, and just because you aren't particularly slick doesn't mean that you don't have bags of raw talent, and just because you are very slick doesn't mean that you have bags of raw talent. So it's kind of those things, and it's nice and all, but it's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is the raw talent. I'm the one who's meant to be slick to some degree. I'm the one that's going to be doing the selling, so that in a writer is not especially important. So as a writer, if that's not your thing, don't worry about it. But yeah, so there has been a real range. People asking how the publishing process works, and then people who have got either quite a lot of experience or certainly a lot of knowledge about how publishing works, who are more interested in whether I'd be interested in their books, and are looking, I suppose, to go to the next level with an agent. So yes, quite a range.